Today we're in crisis mode. Well, we'll start off with saying this is still going to be an orchid video, so don't miss out. We're just going to explain a bit first. Our 2-meter tall Buddha has just been crushed by our neighbor's tree that fell across our yard. It's crushed our whole garden here. So we're basically starting from scratch. And welcome to the Nature Company. Sorry this isn't going to be a more interesting video. Some of you might appreciate it, but this is life. And if you're going to find any of this content interesting, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and that notification bell to be notified of all our upcoming content so you don't miss out on a thing. So let's go have a look, see what's happened here. Not only is this huge tree got massive trunks, but it's also covered in dragon fruit. So with all the rain that we've been having recently, obviously the weight had just got too much, and obviously the neighbors, we'll show you what their yard looks like out front as well. You'll be horrified. Everyone down the road keeps asking, who are these people that own this horrendous piece of property and why aren't they cleaning it up? I've always said, yeah, well, it's been an old lady who owns the property, so perhaps she's not able to do it. But we have found out indeed it's not. It's her daughter that owns the property now. And so there's really no excuse for the property to be filled with alien invasives like that and allowing it to get so wild that the trees are not able to hold themselves up any longer and come falling across into other people's yards, and they don't want to take responsibility for it. So getting a good old rant out the way. But just look at this. It's crushed our 20-odd-year-old Phoenix reclinata. We had about 4 or 5 nice tall stems coming out of it, all starting to arc beautifully. And now it's just completely crushed. Let's just get up a bit higher. We can see Ed up there busy chopping out some of the excess. And just look at this mess. And of course, what they say, you don't judge people by what they say, it's by what they do. And with the interactions that we've had with these neighbors already, we actually understand who they are. And we actually want nothing further to do with them. So we're just walking up this like it's a walkway now. Okay, I'm going to switch screen around so you can have a better look. There we go. We can see the fence line up here and how the tree has completely come across over the fence and down into our property, spreading out across in all directions. Of course, happy water pipes that they obviously had in for stormwater drains that very possibly caused this whole incident, because they have no septic tanks for, or no soakaway pits for those tanks like they're supposed to have. So we can see the mess and rubble that is here as well. There's the fence line. I'm across the fence here now, and there's the hole. So indeed, if they are trying to insist that it's not their tree and it's our tree, why did they put their fence on the other side of the tree? But anyway, we'll still get down to doing what we do. we'll clean up the mess. And now that we've got that far, let's get to what this is actually about. Enough ranting about the neighbors. Let's get on to about what we found in this tree. A little bit of excitement in the devastation. Let's just find our way back down here. Go, there's just some more devastation in our garden. All our aloes completely squashed by all of this mess that came down on the tree. And never once did they try and remove any of this cat's claw creeper, which is an alien 1 invasive plant as declared in South Africa, and it was left up to us to try and keep it under control. There we go, look at the mess. All alien invasives, and they do absolutely nothing about it. So we're gonna have to see what happens from here. Okay, well, I'm going off again and again and again. Let's get back to the fun part. It's better to look at the joy of life. Look what we found on the stumps of the fallen tree. This is Mystacidium, and we're going to be putting these into our garden and getting them to grow beautifully, and now we'll be able to enjoy these beautiful blooms. Look how many flower spikes it has had over the years. And it's not Mystacidium, it's Mystacidium. Mystacidium. Mystacidium is the rootless, is the leafless orchid. This is Mystacidium, possibly capense with the length of these flower spikes, but we'll have to have a closer look into it to see what it actually might be. It might be Exela. So we'll just do a bit of research to get all those beautiful long spikes of white flowers, and that's a nice large clump that's come off. So let's just have a quick look at these Mystacidiums. The one thing you will notice about them, other than all these millions of flower spikes that they get, is how small or how little leaf volume there is compared to the amount of root volume. They really are those orchids that prefer to be epiphytic. So often with these, you'll find you'll have a lot more success with them if you are growing them at home, if you mount them. If you are wanting to pot them up into a pot, then please use a very open bark so that you don't rot the roots. These roots are very sensitive to overwatering. So when watering, just give it a good solid watering and then allow it to dry out. So these are, as I was saying, are indigenous South African orchids. They come from the Cape province all the way up through KwaZulu-Natal, in the sort of like warm tropical kind of zones, well, semi-subtropical zones. So they prefer warm temperatures and high humidity. They do actually don't mind too much cold. They will accept the cold, should we say, because even here we get down to around 5 degrees Celsius in winter, but they really do prefer the warm temperatures. To get them to flower like this, they generally flower sort of late spring, early summer, but to really get a good show out of them, they need a drop in those nighttime temperatures. So you get a high difference in your day-night temperatures. That can be one of the reasons that perhaps if you are growing them, that they're not flowering for you. Another reason that they might not be flowering is your light. They like quite strong light, but not direct. They, being epiphytic, they grow in the trees and they're getting mottled sun for most of the day, but no direct sun for long periods. These small little leaves, although they're quite thick and voluptuous, will burn relatively easily. And the one thing about them also is they get these long spikes of crystal white flowers, which is actually quite stunning, which is also one of the reasons you would really rather mount it than put it in a pot for the display to be actually shown to its best. And it produces an amazing sweet scent at night time. So that's why they say it's probably pollinated by a moth that we're getting the scent at night. But that's one of the beautiful things, other than that amazing show of flowers, is that sweet scent that you get out of them in the evenings. Also, the humidities with these, they like to be in relatively humid conditions. So between 60, I would say, would be your minimum, to about 80%. And one of the reasons is because they are so epiphytic that they do most of their nutrient and water absorption from the air and then the occasional rains that they get. So if you start seeing the leaves yellowing, you'll probably find out it's probably that you've burnt them from too much sun And if you start seeing them withering, then you're probably not watering it enough, because being mounted like this, they're going to be needed to be misted or watered relatively frequently, especially if your humidities are low. So these amazing plants are relatively undemanding, and they really do put on an amazing display. Well worth having in anyone's collection. So just to recap quickly, intermediate temperatures, well, intermediate to warm temperatures, high humidity, and preferably mounted. And of course, dappled sunlight, not direct light. And you should have great success with your Mystacidium capense. I think that might be it for the video today, because we are going to be cleaning up this tree for a couple of days and it's going to take us a long time. Thank you for watching. Sorry about all the misery, but we're getting over that and we're going to be enjoying our beauty. And thank you for watching. Remember, all that orchid related content, look down at that Buy Me a Coffee link. Ed posts up a lot of stuff there all the time. Don't be shy, sign up, become a member, get that members only content as well, and grow like a pro. Thank you for watching. I hope you've found any of this information interesting or what have you. And please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that notification bell, bing bong, to be notified of all our upcoming content so you don't miss out on a thing. Help us grow as we help your orchids grow.